When someone says UFO, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Flying saucers, right? Because that is exactly what Hollywood has fed us all these decades. But to be honest, UFOs come in all shapes and sizes. From boomerang-shaped UFOs to triangular UFOs, to metallic spheres moving at phenomenal speeds, showing no visible means of propulsion. All this very clearly points out to just one thing, that there is a highly advanced alien civilization, keeping a close watch on mankind. Some say they are doing so to prevent us from using our nuclear arsenal against each other. Is that really true? We will only know when they make first contact. But until then, let's take a look at 43 jaw-dropping UFO sightings that just don't add up. Welcome to Lab 360, it's time to explore. Number 1, metallic spinning top-like UFO seen in Brazil and USA. This shocking sighting supposedly took place somewhere in Brazil in July. A man recorded an unusually shiny object drifting in the sky in broad daylight. At first he thought it was a mylar balloon, because of the silvery shine it gave off. But then looking at its shape and forward propelled motion, he knew it was not a balloon but actually a UFO. This UFO closely resembled the metallic spinning top that actor Leonardo DiCaprio used as a totem in the movie Inception. As the UFO keeps moving forward, you can see a slight change in the shape, where it supposedly becomes shorter in height. Such shape-shifting UFOs have been seen by eyewitnesses before, but this is probably the first time that it's ever captured on camera. A similar metallic spinning top-shaped UFO was also seen in Colombia, by the pilot of a commercial plane. The UFO came so close to the aircraft, that there was definitely going to be a mid-air collision, but the pilot moved his plane away just in time. Surprisingly, on the very day the UFO was seen in Brazil, the same craft was also seen almost 3,000 miles away in Miami, Florida. But this time around, the UFO just stayed stationary in the air, like it was awaiting orders from the mothership. Why is this metallic spinning top-shaped UFO seen so often in South and North America? Only time will tell. Number 2, UFO leaving a trail of disappearing lights. In the past, we have seen UFOs with lights that just disappear and then reappear again. This happens mainly when they realize through their advanced technology that someone is watching them from a distance. But what you are going to see next is something totally otherworldly. This sighting supposedly took place in the States, and was captured from a night vision Ring doorbell camera facing a barn. We can clearly see something luminous moving from right to left, but how it moves from one point to another totally defies all laws of physics that we know of. This craft seems to be teleporting from one point to another within a fraction of a second. Even the horse in the barn seems visibly disturbed, almost like it was afraid of something. This same craft was later captured by a man from his balcony, and this time the UFO was giving off an orangish glow. Surprisingly, the distance the UFO was covering this time around through teleportation was much more than before, going to show that it was in some sort of hurry. What kind of superior tech do these aliens possess, that allows them to disappear and then reappear in a totally different position? And can you even imagine how advanced their weaponry will be compared to ours, considering this teleportation-like technological superiority? Number 3, UFOs seen in Russia and China forming the infinity symbol. This mind-boggling sighting was recorded by a Russian man while sitting on his balcony. What he saw left him totally perplexed. At first it just seems like multiple orbs forming a circular shape, while moving at rapid speeds, but on closer look, we notice that it's the infinity symbol they are trying to form. Hundreds of glowing lights can be seen spiraling in a strange figure-8 shape, high up in the sky. Similar rapidly moving orbs were also seen in Nagpur, India in June, but this time around, they were forming a circle. Were these orbs just drones trying to communicate through symbols with their mothership? And these orb-like UFOs seen in huge numbers, seems to be an Asian phenomenon, as they were also spotted in China. This time resembling the majestic synchronized dance performed by starlings called murmuration. And this time it was not hundreds, but thousands of glowing orbs swarming the moon in a circular movement, as though they were harnessing some sort of energy from our natural satellite. Why are so many orbs seen forming weird mathematical symbols over the continent of Asia? Number 4. CrossLike colorful UFO seen high up in the sky. This is the first time ever that such a weird UFO has ever been seen anywhere in the world. The exact location of this sighting cannot be confirmed, but what you will see will surely make your jaws drop. The incident took place late at night, when a man sitting in the balcony of his high-rise apartment noticed a strange illuminating light in the night sky. He started recording, and on zooming in, he saw a very eerie cross-shaped illuminated figure, hovering high up in the sky. It seemed very stationary, but also waving about from right to left, making it look very flexible. And not just white light, this UFO was emitting lights of different colors, pretty much like the decoration lights we see on a Christmas tree. During the entire duration of the recording, the UFO never moved from its position. We are generally used to seeing flying saucers, triangular UFOs, and even multiple bright orbs. But a cross-shaped UFO emanating colorful lights high up in the sky just doesn't make any sense. Number 5. UFO seen in Chennai, India. Many UFO sightings have taken place in India this year. But a sighting of this magnitude and with such clarity has never been recorded in the country. This sighting took place in Chennai on August 19th. A mysterious object was caught on video hovering over the city of Chennai. The object looked solid, starting off still, but then slowly started moving from east to west. Multiple witnesses reported the sighting, with photos taken from various angles. This UFO was emitting bright green light, very much similar to the UFO seen ever so clearly in Tehran, Iran, which was also emitting bright green light. If you compare the two footages side by side, you will think we are talking of the same UFO, but from different angles. The Tehran sighting took place in the month of May, just 3 months before this sighting. So was this the same UFO? Surprisingly, there is a nuclear power plant situated in Chennai. Also, Iran is notoriously known for having a stockpile of nuclear weapons. So was this UFO just keeping a watch on our earthly nuclear capabilities? Number 6. UFO with disappearing lights seen over Malaysia and Philippines. This sighting took place in June of 2024, in the scenic country of Malaysia. UFO sightings are not so common in Southeast Asia, and hence this garnered a lot of attention from UFO enthusiasts. A man saw some strange lights dotting the night sky in the distance. He started recording, and this is what he saw. Again, just like the UFOs seen in Nagpur, India, this UFO was hidden behind thick rain-bearing clouds. But the lights it was emitting were so bright that it pierced even through the dark clouds, and was clearly visible from the ground. It can clearly be seen that the lights disappear and reappear in the same position within a few seconds, just like on an airplane. It also seemed like these lights were part of a massive UFO, just hovering high in the sky. This strange sighting even made it to the local news media, but again, they had no idea what they had witnessed. Another similar sighting was also recorded in the Philippines. What was the purpose of this huge alien mothership hovering over Southeast Asia will continue to remain a mystery. Number 7. UFO seen off the coast of Mexico. What we are about to show you has no possible explanation. We have talked about unidentified submerged objects, UFOs, before, when the Soviet Navy came face to face with hostile underwater UFOs. In that confrontation, before things could get out of hand, the submarine surfaced and the UFOs fled the spot without any conflict. But getting back to the recent UFO sighting, this took place off the coast of Mexico in June this year. Some fishermen were deep at sea and they suddenly noticed a bright light coming out from beneath the ocean. Initially, it looks like light is being projected onto the surface of the ocean from the sky above, but you later realize that it's coming from deep beneath. This sighting also made it to the Mexican news, who had no clue. And just like this sighting, a couple of fishermen deep at sea, off the coast of Puerto Rico, noticed a bright blue light coming out from under the ocean. In both these cases, the fishermen kept a safe distance as they were oblivious of the intentions of the UFO. We would like to bring to your notice that back in April 2013, a Customs and Border Protection aircraft captured compelling footage of a UFO over the Rafael Hernandez Airport. After flying over the city, the UFO slowly moved towards the ocean. The UFO then went underwater and disappeared, only to reappear as two separate UFOs, and then disappeared again into the ocean. Was this the same UFO that was seen recently in Puerto Rico giving off bright blue light? Number 8. Triangular orange UFO seen in New York. This was also not the first time when three orbs in a triangular formation were seen in the New York night sky. Back in May 2021, a man noticed three bright orbs along the Brooklyn Promenade, equidistant from each other, in a triangle formation. They resembled the triangle-shaped UFOs seen from the doorbell camera in Sunrise, Florida in 2023. Fast forward to July 2024, and these same three orbs in a triangular formation were seen over New York. These orbs as well were giving off an orangish glow, like the teleporting UFO seen before. The person recording the footage was so dumbstruck that he began to ask passerbys if they could also see this unnatural craft in the night sky.
Look at that, it's a triangle. You guys know what that is? You see that?
Unlike the triangular UFO seen along the Brooklyn Promenade, which was stationary, this UFO kept moving in the forward direction at a decent speed. During the entire recording, the three orbs stayed equidistant from each other. So was this just a huge triangular UFO with three bright lights, or was it three independent orbs moving in precision synchronized fashion? Number 9. UFO in Spain vanishes in seconds. This particular sighting got a lot of social media attention, mainly as it took place near the party capital of the world, Ibiza. Tourists were enjoying the calm ocean atop a cliff in the evening, at the Es Vedra Island, near Ibiza. Surprisingly, a half-crescent moon was also visible during that time of the day. And a tourist who was trying to capture that half-crescent moon noticed something very unusual near it in the sky. She noticed a white bright orb, stationary near the moon. Upon spotting it, she immediately pointed it out to her friend, and they both ran closer to get a better view of the unusual object. But after they zoomed in on the orb to record some clear footage, something very eerie happened. The orb shockingly zoomed to the right with unprecedented speed and was never seen again. The speed with which it zipped out of the field of vision of the camera was totally otherworldly. Such an impossible feat cannot be achieved by any man-made craft that we know of. Even the most powerful rocket ever built, SpaceX's Starship, which has a top speed of 16,000 miles per hour, would find it extremely difficult to achieve such quick momentum in just a split second. Also, the fact that the bright orb was stationary all that while, but zoomed away the moment the tourist tried to capture it on camera, goes to show that the aliens knew that they were being monitored. But how advanced is their tech that they can sense someone trying to record them from so far away? Number 10. UFO seen in Lancaster and Palmdale, California. This sighting is the most recent one and took place on the 16th of August. It also got a lot of social media attention as it took place in California. These eerie sightings took place between the cities of Palmdale and Lancaster, north of Los Angeles and close to a U.S. Air Force base. Which is why a lot of people are pointing out that this might be the U.S. military testing out its advanced crafts. Residents of Lancaster and Palmdale reported seeing up to 6 UFOs in the skies late Friday night. Some even saw the UFOs abruptly stopping mid-air and going in a different direction. Initially they thought that they were shooting stars, but then suddenly these UFOs started moving in a zigzag fashion, suggesting it was a craft being controlled by someone. At first the UFO appears to be completely stationary, emanating lights which pretty much resemble those coming from top of a police car. Then shockingly, the UFO began to descend, which startled everyone. There were even reports that one of these UFOs landed further out in California on a beach, and the authorities obviously cordoned off the area for further investigation. But surprisingly, nothing was announced in the news regarding these UFO sightings. Is the US government and law enforcement trying to conceal something from the general public? Did these UFOs descend on their own? Or were they shot down by the US military? Also, Palmdale is no stranger to UFO activity, as back in 2022, residents of this city experienced something otherworldly that made them fear for their very lives. People spotted more than 100 so-called lights in the night sky, and some of these even moved, so they were definitely not stars. But what exactly were they? Were they smaller UFOs coming out of a mothership? And why were so many UFOs hovering over Palmdale that night? Number 11. Green UFO seen in Tehran. This sighting took place somewhere in May, in Tehran, a city in Iran. And many would say that this is just plain CGI. But to be really honest, this sighting has not been debunked yet. This seems like the closest UFO sighting ever. Second only to the metallic sphere that zoomed right past a commercial plane in Colombia in 2023. What seems really crazy is that this UFO emanating bright green light hovered right over the city, just a few hundred meters above ground level. Such up-close and clear footage of a UFO has never been captured on camera. The nearness of the craft can clearly be gauged by the size of the visible UFO, which seems as big as a commercial airplane. And this same green UFO was seen by many others in the city, but this time at a higher altitude, moving with the same laid-back speed. Why was this specific UFO hovering so slow as compared to all the other UFOs that just speed off when they realize that they have been spotted, like the UFO seen in Ibiza, Spain? Or was this some highly advanced military aircraft that the Iranian armed forces were just testing? Number 12. UFO seen by couple in Canada. In the last few decades, Canada has also become a hotspot for UFO sightings. The most recent one occurred on May 14th in the Fort Alexander area. A Canadian couple stumbled upon an extraordinary sight, when they noticed 4 UFOs shining as brightly as the sun over a nearby river. Justin Stevenson and his wife were driving through Fort Alexander around 10 p.m. when they spotted several mysterious orbs emitting yellow lights, hovering over the Winnipeg River. Justin immediately started recording this baffling sighting, which left him and his wife totally dumbstruck. To the normal eye, it appears like there are 4 suns on the horizon. Such a UFO emitting an orangish-yellow light has been seen once over Texas as well. Are these orange UFOs all part of the same battalion, keeping a watch over the continent of North America? Also, after his wife posted the footage on Facebook, many were quick to point out that it might just be a strange anomaly. Was this just a freak natural incident or multiple UFOs indeed? We will only know with time. Number 13. UFOs seen in Nagpur, India. This next sighting comes all the way from India. Back in June, people in the city of Nagpur were shocked to see such an unnatural phenomenon occur in the night sky. June is mostly monsoon season in India, so the skies are heavily clouded with thick rain-bearing clouds. But the UFOs were so bright that their lights penetrated through the dark clouds, making them clearly visible to people below. In this footage we can see what seems to be multiple UFOs moving quickly in a circular fashion. Generally, UFOs are known to either zip away like the Colombian UFO seen in 2023, or just stay stationary and disappear, like in the case of the Texas and Area 51 sightings. But this might be the first time that UFOs have been seen going round and round at such high speeds. Were they trying to create a whirlpool of sorts to open some kind of portal? Number 14. Phoenix Lights of 1997. This is one of the most widely talked about mass UFO sighting in history, which has left everyone dumbstruck for more than 26 years. This incident has led to the creation of multiple documentaries and even a horror movie.
In 1997, you took part in one of the largest military cover-ups in United States history.
That's correct.
The Phoenix Lights, also known as the Lights over Phoenix, were a series of widely observed unidentified flying objects spotted in the skies over Arizona and Nevada in the southwestern United States on March 13, 1997.
Harkins, Theater in Scottsdale hosted a community forum on the Phoenix Lights today. It aired a documentary on this exact sighting.
Thousands of witnesses reported seeing a series of mysterious lights forming a distinct V-shaped pattern in the night sky over Arizona. Some witnesses even saw 5 floating lights moving silently across the night sky. The lights were described as bright, steady, and in a V-shaped or boomerang formation. Despite attempts by the U.S. Air Force to attribute the phenomenon to military flares, skeptics continue to question the official explanation. Similar triangular aircrafts have been spotted in Sunrise, Florida, and even over Manhattan, New York. So were these smaller UFOs part of the gigantic mothership seen in 1997? Number 15. UFO over Jerusalem. This shocking incident took place in 2011 in the Holy Land of Jerusalem in Israel. This sighting is particularly distinct because of the manner in which the UFO eventually fled into the night sky. This footage was recorded by a native of Jerusalem while he was out on his night stroll. He suddenly spotted this extremely bright light above the city and started recording the video. But what happened next completely scared onlookers for their very life. After some time, the UFO slowly started descending like it was about to land in the city. Terrified onlookers continued to look with jaws wide open, thinking that this would be their first ever alien encounter. But just as the UFO was about to land, it hovered for some time and then suddenly shot up into the sky at unprecedented speeds. This incident took place over one of the holiest places on Earth, the Dome of the Rock, known as the Temple Mount. This site holds great importance in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Hence people are speculating that this bright orb or UFO was not there just by fluke but with a planned agenda. But why was this UFO hovering over a place of religious significance? We might never know. Number 16. White orbs over Area 51. Being synonymous with aliens and UFO activity, it shouldn't come as a surprise that Area 51 finally made it to this list. The exact date of this sighting cannot be established, but the quality of this footage suggests that it was taken somewhere in the 90s. In the start we can clearly see 4 bright orbs hovering in the sky above the mountains. Then suddenly one of the orbs on the right side disappeared, followed by the disappearance of the remaining 3 orbs. The fear of seeing such an unnatural phenomenon can clearly be heard in the voice of the onlookers.
No, it just disappeared. They're disappearing. They heard us up on the mountain. They did.
This was followed by the onlookers aimlessly moving their cameras, while trying to search for the orbs, but to no avail. Such an eerie phenomenon of orbs appearing in the sky and disappearing into thin air occurred 2 more times. Once in September 2018 in Texas, where 3 bright orbs in the sky disappeared for a brief moment only to reappear again. Similarly in 2021 in New York, 3 bright lights were spotted high up in the night sky. But they slowly disappeared after noticing an incoming commercial flight, perceiving it as a possible threat.
Where the lights go? Yo, where'd they go?
Why these bright orbs appear and then suddenly disappear is one mystery that is baffling most UFO hunters. Number 17. Spherical UFO seen in Colombia. Colombia is infamous for being a hotbed for UFO sightings. Later on we will talk about 2 more instances when metallic spheres were seen floating in the skies of Colombia. But this particular sighting took place in 2023. It was recorded from a commercial flight traveling from Bogota to Salento. Commercial airlines fly at an altitude of about 40,000 feet, and this metallic sphere was seen cruising in a straight direction at such a high altitude. If this was a weather balloon, it would be floating around and not moving in a straight direction. This indeed goes to show that it was being propelled by a strong force. Similar metallic spheres were seen in the Colombian skies on 2 other occasions. The first one occurred in 2020, and was also recorded from a commercial airplane by a pilot. And on seeing the footage, we will notice that this sphere is identical in appearance and movement to the one spotted in 2023. The second time a metallic sphere appeared was in May 2023, where the pilot recording the footage nearly missed a head-on collision with the incoming UFO. Are these metallic spheres keeping a close watch on the Colombian military or maybe the drug cartel? Or is there a secret alien base in Colombia that we don't know of? Number 18. Western U.S. objects. This particular sighting was released to the public on May 31, 2023 by Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, then director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, also known as ARO. The footage was recorded by a forward-looking infrared camera in 2021, from a military range in the western United States. In this video, 3 unidentified objects can be seen flying at extremely high altitudes with high speeds, equidistant from each other, in precision synchronized fashion. These UAPs were tracked for almost 4 minutes, and during this entire period, they stayed equidistant as though they were 3 lights being emitted from one singular craft. Such a feat is impossible to achieve by any current man-made aircraft, as it would be difficult to remain equidistant for such a long time. Similar synchronized maneuvers are possible with modern-day drones, but these objects were flying at an altitude of almost 40,000 feet, which is impossible for consumer drones to reach. Even RO has been unable to pinpoint exactly what these UFOs were. But how advanced is this alien tech that they can move as one singular unit, even with such high speeds and at such altitudes? Number 19. Jellyfish UAP in Iraq. This footage was first released on January 10, 2024 by investigative journalists Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. Jeremy Corbell is a filmmaker and ufologist based in Los Angeles. He obtained this footage from 2018 of a military-filmed UAP incursion within a United States Joint Operations base in Iraq. This UAP was immediately nicknamed the Jellyfish UFO because of its jellyfish-like appearance. The US military drone monitoring this UAP could only view it in thermal vision. The drone that was designated to track this UAP has the potential of locking in on the tire of a remote car from as far as 27 miles away. But this advanced US military drone found it difficult to lock on to this Jellyfish UAP, thus indicating that some alien technology was trying to jam the signals of the drone, so that the UAP went undetected. And the odd part is it kept going white and black, meaning hot and cold instantaneously, so as to not get detected by the thermal vision camera. Which goes to show that this UAP knew it was being monitored for the heat it was emitting, and made immediate modifications to go undetected, thus implying that a sentient being was operating that UAP. After hovering over the US Army base for some time, the UAP then went out over a body of water, plunged into it, and stayed underwater for close to 17 minutes. And after 17 minutes, it shot out of the water at a 45-degree angle with tremendous velocity and disappeared. Did the UAP go underwater to hide from the US surveillance drone? Or was that part of its mission to survey the underwater area around the military base for further weaponry? Whatever be the case, the US military has no idea what it was. And if this UAP sighting was mind-boggling, wait till you see the next 24. Number 20. UFO seen by Colombian pilot. This sighting took place on May 4, 2023 over Antioquia in Colombia. The footage was captured by the pilot while flying in his Cessna T-303 Crusader. According to him, the object was first seen floating, and appeared stationary at a specific point between Medellin and Santa Fe. As they approached the UAP, it suddenly moved towards them. He then moved his plane around and started filming. But as he did so, the UAP started moving towards them. He managed to avoid the UAP while flying at a speed of roughly over 300 kilometers per hour. The pilot expressed fear during the encounter, insisting that the object was neither a balloon, a drone, nor any known object to him. Similar flying spheres were also seen in other parts of the world. Let's continue to know more. Number 21. 10-foot humanoids on a Brazilian island. So for people who keep saying that UFOs and aliens are only seen in the US, here is something specially for you. Just 1 week after the Miami shadow alien encounter in January 2024, people in Brazil encountered 2 weird alien creatures on top of a hill, at an island 3 kilometers off the coast of southeast Brazil. Local hikers who recorded the footage reported that 2 alien creatures were spotted on the mountain, and they were supposedly 10 feet tall, similar to the Miami shadow alien. The reason they say they are so tall is because the shrubbery on that hill was barely reaching their knees, which would ideally cover half of a normal human. The aliens were then seen walking down the hill quicker than normal humans with bigger strides, obviously because of their tall stature. Even Brazil's provincial government commented on the video, calling the creatures strange beings. Were these the same aliens who were seen in Miami on New Year's and have now moved to South America? Number 22. UFO seen by a commercial pilot in Colombia. This by far has got to be one of the most hard-hitting evidence for UFOs that has ever been caught on tape. The one-of-a-kind video was recorded by the pilot of a commercial airplane in Colombia. In February 2020, an Airbus A320 was on a routine flight soaring over Medellin, Colombia. At about 30,000 feet in the air, the pilot decided to pull out his phone and record the view. But to his astonishment, he spotted a metallic cube with pointy edges moving seamlessly in a straight line. Now, if this was a weather balloon, it would sway from left to right, but this seemed to be moving forward in one direction, implying that it was being propelled by a powerful engine of sorts. A similar object was spotted by a U.S. fighter pilot in 2018, over the Atlantic Ocean, at an altitude of 35,000 feet. That UFO has still not been identified, and its structure seems to be very similar to the cube-like structure that was seen by the Colombian pilot in 2020. Whether these are alien manned spaceships, or just probes sent to monitor the area, neither the US nor the Colombian military has any clue. But these UFO sightings are nothing compared to what the US military has encountered on other occasions. Number 23. UFO reported over New York's LaGuardia Airport. This is the latest sighting in the list. This shocking sighting took place just recently in March 2024. Michelle Reyes was on a commercial flight above New York's LaGuardia Airport on March 25th. She was casually recording a video of New York's skyline, like most travelers do as their plane gets ready to land, when suddenly, she spotted something very unusual. She saw a mysterious, eerie-looking black disc-like object zooming past her plane from right to left. The dark object was traveling at roughly 2,500 feet above ground level and was relatively close to the plane. The motion was really quick, but if we pause the footage, you can clearly see that this UAP was neither a drone nor any manned aircraft that we know of. Now let's see the footage in real time. Even if we consider the fact that the plane and the UFO are moving in opposite directions, it still seemed like the UFO was moving at tremendous speeds, like a fighter jet. No man-made drone yet can achieve Mach speed while flying. After recording the footage, Michelle Reyes immediately emailed the Federal Aviation Administration to let them know what she saw. But even the FAA are still clueless as to what the mysterious black disc was. And this is also not the first time that a UFO was seen flying near an airport. Number 24. UFO hovering over airport in Puerto Rico. This incident took place in Aguadilla, a city in Puerto Rico. The compelling footage was captured in April 2013 over the Rafael Hernandez Airport by a Customs and Border Protection aircraft. In this footage, we can clearly see that the forward-looking infrared camera tracking the movement of this UFO was finding it extremely difficult to keep track of it because of its intense speed and agile movement. In the footage, we can see a sphere-like object swiftly flying first over the airport and then over road and commercial buildings. Even the military personnel capturing the footage said that the UFO exhibited characteristics that cannot be explained by any known aircraft or natural phenomenon. Also, they added that this UFO was definitely smaller than an aircraft, so maybe it was an alien probe sent to survey the airport area. The CBP aircraft continued following the sphere for more than 10 minutes, and during this time it slowly moved towards the ocean. That's where things got weirder, because the sphere suddenly dipped inside the water. And when it emerged out of the water, it split into 2 UFOs while traveling at the same speed. The UFOs again went underwater, but this time, never to be seen again. The military personnel were perplexed and horrified as to what they had just witnessed. Surprisingly, similar metallic spheres have been spotted over US military bases. Let's continue watching the video to find out more. Number 25. UFOs spotted on the moon from Moscow. UFO activity is not just something that happens on Earth, but on our natural satellite as well. A photographer from Moscow, Russia, captured something on the moon that left him totally spellbound. Anyways, there are conspiracy theories that the moon is an alien base, but this footage just solidified such beliefs. Back in 2019, a Russian photographer set up his equipment to shoot a full moon over the city of Moscow. And while trying to focus, he saw something very unusual. At first glance, he could see 3 circular objects moving near the surface of the moon. And then when he tried to refocus to confirm what he saw, to his amazement, now there were multiple circular UFOs moving at the same speed from left to right over the moon. It seemed like an entire battalion of UFOs was flying out for a mission over the moon. Analysts are still not able to deduce what exactly these flying circular lunar objects were. And seems like one of these alien spheres made it to South America. Number 26. Triangular craft seen by the US Navy. This footage was again leaked by ufologist Jeremy Corbell, who had earlier released the Jellyfish UAP video. The video was recorded by US Navy personnel, and was captured with a night vision camera, from the destroyer USS Russell in 2019. This was then leaked by Jeremy Corbell in 2021. The government's classified briefing clearly mentioned that the triangular UFO was definitely not owned by the United States, or any other country, or even a private spaceflight firm. Some think that this might be an advanced version of the Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit, also known as the stealth bomber, that the US military might have been testing at that time. The stealth bomber too has a triangular shape and has a similar flight pattern. Surprisingly, the military personnel who recorded this video said that the UFO was behaving in unexpected ways. In addition, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, set up in 2020, couldn't determine what the craft was. Later we will look at another massive UFO sighting, bearing the shape of a triangle that took place in Florida, USA. Number 27. 3 UFOs seen in Texas. This sighting took place on a warm night in September 2018 in Tomball, just north of Houston. A group of friends had gone out to dinner that night and had just returned to their apartment complex, when suddenly they noticed something disturbing in the night sky. Out of nowhere, 2 stationary bright lights appeared in the sky. And then suddenly, the third one made itself visible, like it was hiding its presence from everyone. Then the 2 lights moved away from the third one, circling around in formation but eventually coming back to a triangle formation. Then suddenly, after some time, the UFOs just disappeared and again reappeared. One of the eyewitnesses was an ex-military from the United States Air Force, and he was convinced that what he saw that night was not from this world. He made it very clear that they were definitely not flares nor any aircraft he knows of. These UAPs bear a striking resemblance to the triangle-shaped UFO recorded from a doorbell camera in Sunrise, Florida in 2023. And this was also not the only time a UFO was spotted in Texas. In April 2022, in a town called Kyle, a strange UFO was captured on camera emanating an orange glow, which has never been seen in other UFO sightings. And as always, local officials had no explanation for the orange UFO. But why are so many sightings happening in and around Texas? Do aliens have a secret base in Texas that we don't know of? Talking about military bases, some UFOs came surprisingly close to US Navy warships. Let's continue watching to find out more. Number 28. UFO seen in the Middle East. The US Department of Defense released this classified footage in April 2023. This footage was taken somewhere in the Middle East. The exact location has not been disclosed. A military drone captured an apparent silver orb-like object that crossed the sensor's field of view. This video was recorded on July 12, 2022. The Department of Defense has said that in spite of multiple analysis, the object still remains unidentified. The flying object seems to be a round metallic shiny spear moving in a straight line. Then suddenly it moves to the right when the military drone tries to lock onto its position. This shows that the highly advanced technology of the UAP was able to detect the US military drone without any physical contact. Even till the end of the video, the military drone was not able to focus on the UAP as it kept dodging the sensor. Then 1 year later, in June 2023, NASA held a press conference to talk about that particular UFO sighting. NASA is also closely working with the Pentagon to find out what exactly they had encountered in the Middle East. But this was not the first time that such a metallic sphere was seen by military personnel. As we move ahead, you will be shocked to see how close some UFOs got to the armed forces. Number 29. Baghdad Phantom. This sighting got nicknamed Baghdad Phantom as it took place in Baghdad, Iraq. This was an active conflict zone at the time of the observation. This sighting took place on May 14, 2022. 6 classified images were taken north of the city of Baghdad by the US Air Force using a Reaper drone with a thermal camera. These images were later released by filmmaker and ufologist Jeremy Corbell, who also leaked the Jellyfish UAP video at the start of 2024.
Only in the thermal spectrum could it be seen. But anything that looks like that appears to have a payload, that's a big deal. It could be dangerous, so these are high priority.
When these 6 images were stitched together, you can clearly see a disc-like object, quickly zooming from left to right. Fast-moving crafts are powered by propulsion systems like rockets or engines that create heat. But the thermal camera that filmed the object showed it was colder than its surroundings. This goes to show that it was definitely not a rocket. It also implies that the spacecraft was made using highly advanced technology. For a second, you actually think that you are watching the UFO footage over LaGuardia Airport, but in infrared. Both these discs share a striking resemblance and were seen just 2 years apart near national and military airspaces. Was this the same UFO keeping an eye on America's military activity? The US military designated the disc as an unidentified aerial phenomena or UAP. Even RO, which is an office set up by the Department of Defense to investigate unidentified flying objects, is now aware of this case and is carrying out its investigations. The filming of the Baghdad Phantom UAP was not an isolated UAP event in the area during this 24-hour period. UAPs consisting of various shapes were filmed during this UAP event series. But moving away from Baghdad, another shocking UFO sighting took place right next to a US military fighter jet. Number 30. UFOs spotted in Sunrise, Florida. This footage was recorded at night from a doorbell camera in Sunrise, Florida in 2023. In this video, 3 UFOs can be seen to move in the formation of an equilateral triangle. Such a formation would be very difficult to maintain when moving at high speeds by any of the current known aircrafts. The UFOs then eventually disperse in different directions. An eyewitness recorded another footage of the same event from another part of Florida, adding credibility to the sighting. This footage gives us a better understanding of how far apart the 3 UFOs actually are from each other. When seeing the first footage, initially it looks like a singular ship with 3 lights shining at its 3 edges. But later you can clearly see that the 3 UFOs start acting independently, and move in opposite directions in precision synchronized fashion. Such synchronized movement has been seen at drone air shows. But it would have to be a very large drone, almost the size of an airplane, to shine so brightly in the night sky from such a high altitude. People in Florida are still clueless about what they witnessed that fateful night. As we move ahead, we will also see the UFO that almost scared the Chilean military personnel. Number 31. Tic Tac UFO. This sighting took place in 2004 and the footage was taken aboard a Navy fighter jet from the nuclear aircraft carrier USS Nimitz. The footage was captured using a Raytheon Advanced Targeting Forward-Looking Infrared Pod, which consists of the most advanced sensors and tracking system in the world. The sighting of this oblong object took place at an altitude of almost 20,000 feet. Also, this UAP was not giving out any plumes of smoke like a conventional aircraft. The fighter jet was moving at a speed of roughly 250 knots, that's almost 300 miles per hour. So this UFO was also moving at a relatively high speed just like the fighter jet. The fighter pilot constantly tried to change the mode of tracking to get a better understanding of the UAP, but to no avail. And then, after almost a minute and a half of tracking the UAP, it suddenly accelerated towards the left at an unprecedented velocity, moving out of the view of the sensor. The fighter jet was unable to track it after that. Were the aliens already aware that the US fighter jet was tracking them and were they just playing along? What do we make of all these UFO sightings? We have realized that in recent times, UFOs have gotten surprisingly closer to military bases, fighter jets and even US Navy destroyers. Are these just extraterrestrials monitoring us, or are they making bold moves with the intention of waging a future war against humanity? Number 32. UFO seen in Oklahoma night sky. This is another sighting that took place just recently in 2024. On the 4th of March, an Oklahoma resident was enjoying a quiet evening with his kids, right outside his residence, when suddenly they spotted something abnormal above them. They saw an unusually bright object in the sky giving off luminous white light. Initially he thought it was a shooting star, but it was moving extremely slow to be one. Then suddenly, the UFO blasted a white plume of air resembling a shockwave which further perplexed the onlookers. Some actually think that this was just a rocket launch that is getting blown out of proportion. Surprisingly, on that same day, SpaceX did have a launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida, but that launch took place at a totally different time and location compared to the UFO sighting. So was this just aliens keeping track of all the space launches that we do? Recently Elon Musk even said, "I don't see any evidence of aliens," as Starlink satellites have never dodged UFOs. Or maybe these UFOs are just too quick to detect. We will further see 2 other UFO sightings that shockingly got very close to the US military. Number 33. UFO seen in South Asia. This video footage of a UAP was taken from a forward-looking infrared camera. Like most of the military captured UAP evidence. The exact time when the footage was taken is still unknown. This incident took place somewhere in South Asia. An MQ-9, which is an unmanned aerial vehicle, was conducting a routine surveillance operation for the United States Air Force. When suddenly, a very suspicious-looking object zoomed right past it. It looked like a circular disc-like craft moving at a relatively high speed in a straight line. This footage was taken by another MQ-9 which was in the vicinity. If we pause the video, we can clearly see that the craft had an oblong shape. This UFO bears a striking resemblance to 2 other UFOs seen near private and military airspaces. One that was seen over LaGuardia Airport in New York and the Baghdad Phantom that was spotted north of the city of Baghdad in Iraq. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office or ARO, which is an office set up to investigate unidentified flying objects, stated on its official website that the object likely is a commercial aircraft, and that the trailing cavitation is a sensor artifact resultant of video compression. But no aircraft currently known to man resembles the UFO seen that day in South Asia. So, is the US Department of Defense purposely covering up an actual UFO sighting? This was also not the first time that the US Air Force came face to face with a UFO in the sky. Number 34. UFOs seen in a triangle formation over Manhattan. Being the most densely populated of New York City's 5 boroughs, Manhattan houses iconic landmarks like Times Square, the Empire State Building and the Rockefeller Center, to name a few, that are world-famous tourist attractions. And often such heavily populated areas are where UFO activity happens to peak. The lucky person to witness this spectacle was Hamid Vitalis, who was on his way to work on the night of May 15, 2021. While walking along the Brooklyn Promenade, the unusual light formation in the sky caught his attention, and he immediately recorded the event on his phone. You can clearly see 3 bright lights high up in the night sky, equidistant from each other, in a triangle formation. This looks very similar to the triangle-shaped UFOs seen from the doorbell camera in Sunrise, Florida in 2023. These lights were stationary for some time, but when an incoming commercial flight started approaching these bright orbs, 2 of them suddenly disappeared and only 1 bright light continued to be visible. And then the 3rd light also slowly dimmed away. So as to say that the aliens sensed some threat from the incoming commercial flight and moved away for their safety and anonymity. But the main question still remains unanswered. Why are so many UFO sightings happening over the Big Apple? One theory is that UFOs go to where the action is, and they pick up on the energy. So being densely populated, New York seems to have become the hub for UFO and alien activity in recent times. Maybe soon we might hear of 10-foot aliens walking through Times Square, just like they were spotted in Miami and on top of a hill in Brazil. But we will only have to wait and watch. In the meantime, if you are a New Yorker, keep your eyes peeled towards the sky. You might just be reporting the next UFO sighting to the world. But why do you think that aliens favor New York over other popular tourist destinations like Paris and Rome? Number 35. UFO seen by US fighter pilot over the East Coast. The Pentagon has disclosed to lawmakers that it had cataloged 400 reports of UAPs. Out of these, 11 were near misses with aircrafts. US military personnel have also come across UFOs on multiple occasions, and some of these encounters have even been captured on camera. Many of these footages have been declassified and released for public viewing. One such eerie footage was captured in 2021. A Navy pilot was flying his F-18 fighter jet off the East Coast, when suddenly he noticed something strange in his airspace and reported it to the command center. The pilot then decided to remove his cell phone to record what he was seeing as proof, and this was the footage he captured. The UAP was so quick that we have to actually pause the video just to get a glimpse of it. Also, the UFO was moving at Mach speeds without any visible means of propulsion. When you look at the still image more closely, it clearly looks like a metallic sphere which very much resembles the other metallic spheres that have been seen in the Middle East and Colombia. Even during the congressional hearing held in May 2022, Naval Intelligence couldn't give a concrete answer as to what that UAP was.
Describe what we're looking at. What are we observing?
It's reflective in this video, somewhat reflective, and it quickly passes by the cockpit of the aircraft.
The big question that still remains unanswered is why do so many UAP sightings happen near military aircrafts and bases? Are the aliens keeping a close watch on our military technology? Or are they preparing for something more sinister like a full-scale invasion? Number 36. Metallic sphere seen at U.S. Navy Airshow. This unusual sighting took place in May 2024, just 2 months after the LaGuardia Airport black disk incident. On the bright morning of May 28, a Navy airshow was on in full swing in Long Island, with more than eager spectators. The Blue Angels, who are a U.S. Navy flight demonstration squadron, were also performing at the airshow that day. And as always, people were filming the crazy fighter jet maneuvers, when one of the spectators noticed something really inexplicable. In the video recorded by this particular witness, we can clearly see the Super Hornet jet moving from right to left, but if you slow down the video, you will notice a shiny metallic sphere rush past the U.S. Navy jet. The incident takes place so quickly, that had it not been for the vigilant spectator, someone would think it's just a fly passing in front of the camera. Metallic spheres of this kind have been encountered in the past, by not just U.S. Navy pilots, but Colombian commercial pilots, and even U.S. military personnel in the Middle East. So if this UFO was only visible on slowing down the footage, what Mach speed was it traveling at, without any visible means of propulsion known to man? And what creates even more curiosity, is that these metallic spheres are normally seen near military installations. So are these aliens keeping a watchful eye on our military technology? Are they doing so to gauge if we are a threat to them before they make some kind of contact with us? Number 37. UFO seen by Ukrainian soldiers during the Russia-Ukraine war. Russian President Vladimir Putin recently said that he would use nuclear weapons if NATO deployed their troops on ground to fight against Russia alongside Ukraine. And it was after this horrendous nuclear threat by Putin that a mysteriously eerie-looking UFO was seen by Ukrainian soldiers. This is the second time that a UFO has been spotted in a war zone. Normally UFOs have been seen above cities and also over mountains. But rarely have UFOs been spotted during an active war by soldiers. The footage shows Ukrainian soldiers from the 406th Battalion totally speechless and horrified after seeing the UFO right in front of them. You can't blame them for such a reaction, as for a minute they actually thought that it was a new Russian aircraft that was ready to attack them with a nuclear weapon. But this UFO was disc-shaped and was completely stationary, floating in air for the entire duration. This completely bamboozled the Ukrainian soldiers, who can be heard swearing in Russian, out of fear of not being able to comprehend what they had just witnessed. The scary footage was captured by a heat vision quadcopter drone used by the Ukrainian armed forces. This mysterious hovering object bears a striking resemblance to the Baghdad Phantom, a skinny, cylindrical object spotted above Iraq in May 2022 by the infrared heat camera of a U.S. Air Force Reaper drone. And this was not the last time that trained military personnel came across alien spaceships. Number 38. UFO spotted in Chile. In 1997, the Chilean government officially created a committee for the study of anomalous aerial phenomena. The committee was created with the sole purpose of studying all reports of UAP activity by commercial military and civilian pilots. And one such documented incident that was highly publicized took place in 2014. Chilean naval officers came across a UAP while flying along the coast of Santiago in their helicopter. What they encountered left them totally dumbstruck and confused. They were at a height of about 4,500 feet, and for 9 straight minutes, they kept recording this strange-looking UAP. At first glance it looks like an elongated rocket moving horizontally. But as time goes by, the frontal part of the UFO moves ahead, leaving behind a long horizontal part. Even after studying the footage for 2 years, the Chilean military was unable to identify this unusual aerial phenomena. Also, it seems like aliens have a secret base on the moon. Let's continue to know more. Number 39. UFOs spotted by the Mexican Air Force. Seeing one UFO is enough to send shivers down the spine of any eyewitness. Now imagine seeing 11 such UFOs, all at the same time. Wouldn't you just freeze to death at that very sight? That's exactly what happened to a Mexican fighter pilot in 2004. On March 5, 2004, the Mexican Air Force was carrying out routine surveillance operations for drug traffickers over the state of Campeche, which is located in southeast Mexico. That's when the Mexican fighter pilot came face to face with not one, but 11 bright UFOs. This incident occurred at an astounding altitude of 11,500 feet above sea level. These 11 UFOs appeared out of nowhere and surrounded the military jet, which obviously put the pilot in an extreme state of panic as he thought he was under attack. Luckily, nothing of that nature occurred that fateful day. The Mexican Air Force then sent out more fighter jets to aid their pilot. This then led to a mid-air chase, but the UFOs were so fast that the Mexican fighter jets lost sight of them and they were never seen after that. The fighter pilot even said that the UFOs knew that they were being pursued. But why would 11 UFOs surround a military jet? Such a hostile confrontation has never been documented before, or maybe there is more to the story than meets the eye. Number 40. Spherical UFOs seen by U.S. Navy off the coast of San Diego. This was the first time ever that UFOs were spotted so close to a U.S. Navy destroyer. This video was again released by filmmaker and ufologist Jeremy Corbell. This hostile confrontation took place off the coast of San Diego in July 2019. These UAPs swarmed around multiple Navy warships for hours, thus showing blatant lack of fear for the U.S. Army. Jeremy Corbell stated that similar events were reported by 8 other Navy ships in the same area over 3 days. One of those ships, the USS Omaha, encountered as many as 14 of the UFOs all at the same time. For 2 long hours on the night of July 15, 2019, the crew of the Omaha detected on multiple sensor systems unknown objects that surrounded the ship. One of the objects, a self-illuminated sphere at least 6 feet in diameter, flew alongside the Omaha for an extended period and was observed through a thermal sensor. Then later it just disappeared into the ocean. The Army personnel who witnessed the event believe it was a coordinated interaction. Was this a show of strength by the aliens, or just routine reconnaissance missions to keep track of the activity of the most powerful military in the world? If UFOs and aliens are making themselves visible to armies around the world, does that mean that they are preparing for a global invasion? Or are they just checking our military tech to see if we pose any threat to them? Number 41. UFO seen by pilots in 2015. The second classified video that was made public involved pilots coming across a flying saucer, moving at tremendous speeds. This incident took place in 2015, near the east coast of America. The pilots seemed bamboozled on seeing this UAP at first. What further shocked them was the tilting movement of the craft from left to right, that it maneuvered mid-air while traveling at great speeds. The pilot also noted that the UAP was moving against the direction of the wind, which on that particular day had a speed of 120 knots, approximately 138 miles per hour. Thus, this flying saucer would need to possess immense power to move at such great speeds in spite of such obstruction from the wind. The Department of Defense is yet to establish what exactly this UAP was. Number 42. UAP spotted by Navy pilot in California. U.S. Navy pilots often fly over states for routine naval operations. But back in 2004, during one such routine aerial surveillance operation, a Navy pilot captured something very unusual on his radar. This incident took place off the coast of California. At first the pilot thought there was some error with his radar. But after some time, he realized that it was indeed an aircraft hovering right in front of him. It was an oval-shaped object that kept hovering in its position for quite some time. Even the pilot who recorded the footage said that this craft was not behaving according to the normal laws of physics. After noticing this weird craft, the pilot reported it to the Department of Defense. For nearly 16 years, the Pentagon kept this video classified, but in April 2020, the Department of Defense released this video to the public. 2 other classified videos were also made available to the public in 2020. The last UAP sighting even made the U.S. military personnel jump out of his seat. Number 43. UAP seen by Navy pilots over the ocean. The exact location of this final classified sighting has not been disclosed. But just like the previous 2 videos, the Pentagon made this classified video public in April 2020. This sighting took place just a few months after the tilting flying saucer was spotted on the east coast of America. From the video, it seems to be a metallic sphere moving in a straight line, racing across the surface of the ocean. This also bears a striking resemblance to the metallic sphere that was spotted in the Middle East in 2022 that kept dodging the sensor of the military drone. Luckily, the skilled U.S. Navy pilots were able to lock on to the metallic sphere this time around. The Pentagon released the above 3 videos with a statement saying that the Department of Defense is releasing the videos in order to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage that has been circulating was real, or whether or not there is more to the videos. The aerial phenomena observed in the videos remain characterized as unidentified. And that's the same story even today. None of the UFO sightings have ever been confirmed with any concrete physical evidence. But UFO and alien hunters alike are hoping that 2024 will finally be the year in which humans will get to see an alien spacecraft in real. Should we be afraid of them, knowing that they are far superior than us when it comes to technology? Or should we hope that if they ever do make contact, they will share their technology for the betterment of humanity? We will only have to wait and watch. Share your thoughts in the comments section below. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for the latest revelations in space exploration. Hit the bell icon to stay updated. and let's continue to explore together.